I just landed in South Africa. I still have makeup on my face from my performance last night in London. Here we are. We're doing it. I'm doing it. I'm excited. When I was 16 years old, I ran away to New York City with the dream of being more than my small rural town in North Carolina would allow.
We started being friends for like a couple of months, for like 10 months actually. And then we started dating like last year, December. Yeah, December, and we've been friends ever since. JK.
Oh, friends, okay.
Yeah.
So it's hard to like show affection because you don't know how will people react in a like certain environment. But I mean, in some like places, it's like very comfortable to like grab a hand here and there, or like give like a mini kiss before he leaves.
So, which is really hard because then some people still see it as unnatural because I don't even know what natural is to them.
Yeah.
Because they have this entire Christian thing in their brain that they think it's wrong. So whenever they see two boys holding their hands,
it's like, what are you doing?
You know how Zulu men's masculinity is really fragile.
Bradley and Nkulsey are a teenage couple who met on Instagram. Bradley's a dancer, and Nkulsey is a model and psychology student. Go back to school! Go back! Hey, y'all. Hi. Hi. Where are you from, Bradley?
From Marlborough, from Alex, near the neighborhood, like the township.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there?
So I got bullied a lot because of being like feminine and whatnot. So, and also because of being a dancer. Because it's like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? In the hood.
Really?
And my family didn't like it.
So, was it something that you had to keep secret?
Yeah. Like I would like run away from home and go do the dancing.
So in the community that you were living in as a child, were there places that you remember seeing queer people or gay or lesbian or transgender people within the communities?
Actually, we moved to this new place and my mom had this gay friend, but then she just thought it was a friend that was feminine as well, you know, because it's okay to them to be like feminine, but then once you start dating boys, it's like, what are you doing? You should stop.
Really?
No, stop it.
It's okay if you're feminine,
okay.
but if you go the extra step. So tell me about how you met.
I saw Bradley like a couple of years ago. No, before that.
Fly.
No, you still look straight. Anyway, so he walked past me and I'm like, okay, I know this boy. But he was still straight and I was like, sure.
So you were in the closet. Are you in the closet now?
Well, my parents don't like fully know about it. They just know about Nkulsey and they think he's like my best friend.
Do you think they probably can guess that he's your boyfriend and would just like to believe he's just your friend, or?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Because my mother like checks up on him like on a regular,
Which is really weird.
which is like quite weird. And like she like every time when I'm not at home, she knows where I am, and she always like calls on Nkulsey to check where I am. So I think she kind of knows.
Yes, exactly. I do. These kids are thriving to be meeting young people who are shaping their identities, who are shaping what it is to be a young South African now, through digital media, through performance, through dance. It's alive, you know what I mean? And you feel that hope and you feel that optimism.
Sweatpants, they Gosha, La Costa Nostra, Ziplocs and potions. I love my lip gloss and lotion. I fuck with some bunkins, they cook me gumbo and okra. Look inside my soul, please call Deepak and Oprah. These bum niggas hating, Y'all can sleep on my sofa. I'm frisking these niggas. Man, I must meet my quota. Yes, I'm aggressive. Fuck doing yoga. Your lies don't affect me. Now what my yoga? Y'all on some play, fuck shit. AK, my killer muppet. Gucci gorillas with umbrellas if you feel it. Y'all on some play, fuck shit. AK, my killer muppet. Gucci gorillas with umbrellas if you feelin' lucky. Y'all on some play, fuck shit. AK, my killer muppet. Gucci gorillas with umbrellas if you feelin' lucky. Y'all on some play, fuck shit. AK, my killer muppet. Gucci gorillas with umbrellas if you feelin' lucky.
Growing up as a queer person of color in the USA, I've always been deeply aware of my visibility. A choice to be highly visible because of how I choose to dress or present, and at the same time, an invisibility rendered by those same attributes. I met performance artist and musician Umlilo to join them on a Femme Walk, which for them is an act of queer protest and representation.
So this is a queer in public walk where we just get all of our queer peeps together to do a walk of visibility.
The Femme Walk almost seems like it's a precursor to a pride march in a way.
Definitely, because visibility for us is visibility for everybody. So part of doing a walk like this is a walk of empowerment that can hopefully be something regular if we sort of encourage each other to create the kind of future that we want to see and to come together, because that's the only way, really. This is Forest Town. And the biggest gay raid happened in South Africa in this area. And it sent the country into like a moral panic. It was during apartheid. So they created the Immorality Act, which basically criminalized being homosexual. And it all started here. In South Africa, I mean, even though the law sort of protects members of the LGBTIAQ, on the ground, people are still very homophobic. South Africa has same-sex marriage, for example.
Right.
But there was an article recently that came out that said only like 3 home affairs places do same-sex marriage. So a lot of the time, even though it's in the law, the people themselves in those departments decide, I'm not going to marry 2 men or 2 women or whatever the case.
So give us some context to where we're at right now.
The Simon Goli Corner, which is President and Twist Street. And that's basically where all the meetings happen for the first Pride in Johannesburg. And I mean, Simon Goli is one of the gay icons, activists in South Africa. We're going to move on to Braamfontein, to the Gay and Lesbian Archives.
These are the people in these communities that are doing the work. You know what I mean? These are the people that are making the way for visibility, for the grassroots foundations of what hopefully will be implemented institutionally in their society. So it does definitely give me hope and an optimism, you know. What is the conversation like around sexual health here in Johannesburg?
I just recently had this conversation with my director, actually, and we were talking about PrEP. And it's becoming quite popular amongst young people. I can only speak to the youth forum that we have at Gala and the kind of conversations that we have with them. Thus far, it's been very open. I have to say that's what I've encountered. In school spaces, not so much. I think that people are very hesitant to talk about sex to young people. There's still a bit of a stigma, especially when it's queer. So yeah, it's challenging, I think, in those kinds of spaces. But I think people are a lot more open today than what I remember as a kid.
I guess the experience left me really emotional. Meeting with Genevieve and talking with Umlilo and the Femme Walk and not being able to walk down the street. Or I mean, these are things that I think queer people face all over the world. I think that the world oftentimes just kind of like glazes over queer issues in this way where it's like, okay, you get gay marriage, or, you know, it says you're protected in the Constitution, everything's all right. But everything, society is not in many ways across the world gotten to this place where there's real total inclusion, where the basic rights of queer people can be treated the same as others. So often queer narratives are sabotaged by oppression. I wanted to bring everyone together to have an open dialogue. I want to have a conversation about what is working in the queer community in Johannesburg. What are you seeing within your friend groups, your friend circles, the people that are your family, your queer family? What is working here right now that previously did not work?
I have nieces that are 14 and are like non-gender conforming. When I'm like, do you have a boyfriend? I don't say that. I say, do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or like, what's up? You know what I mean? My nieces are okay with me saying that because in the past 4 years, we've progressed in our conversation.
I think we're at that point where our younger generation is starting to understand that it's not just this like one-dimensional road.
For artists like Faka and Umlilo, I'm finding that this LGBTQ expressionism that's kind of gaining, I don't want to say mainstream appeal, but it is definitely more in people's faces. And
because it's fab.
And I definitely know that 10 years ago, someone like Faka would have struggled to break it into the industry.
I'm sorry, last night was bomb. I am here because I respect talent, and I like talent, and I'm talented. So there's work being made here that not only is just wholly original, it's just so creatively mature, and it deserves. And I told this to her, and I told this to them, that it deserves to be seen. Africa, especially South Africa, doesn't need to just be something on a mood board. Like the truism of what is actually going on deserves a platform.
To diversity.
We're doing a show. I'm gonna perform, Mykki Blanco's gonna perform, and
I'm gonna perform Packet Queen.
Umlilo. I came all the way here, like, bitch is gonna perform. So
Bitch better perform.
bitch better have my rent. Finishing getting my makeup done. Yeah, it's time to kiki. It's time to kiki. No question. It's time to kiki.
The first performer that I'm going to introduce right now is someone that we know very well on the ground, and it's the Glow. Glow Mommy.
So I'm Glow Mommy, and I'm 24 years old. I'm a trans woman living in South Africa. Just recently came out.
When the music is good, when the styling is good, when the vibe is right, it's like no matter what the identity politics are of the person, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just talent. Trying to make sure they got that lighting in that playlist right.
What an honor. We've got Mykki Blanco in the house. Round of applause.
I want to thank y'all so much for coming out. What's up, Johannesburg? We've had such an inspiring trip, and we wanted to do something. You know, it's a Tuesday night, but the artists that I've been meeting, I'm so touched by, I'm so transformed by. People get caught up and I don't understand. Every dude that wish a man, he's got a complex. Was it you or was it him who sent the drum text? No trust, I'm jaded, you're guarded, I'm faded. I'm standing here wasted on Snapchat, I'm naked. I just slammed, I done banged myself up, I'm deranged. I know I'm really strange, I know I'm not the same as I was to you then, like I am to you now. Understand, this ain't how I want shit to go down. Are you really gonna screw me? Pull the trigger, go and do me. Feeling gloomy, I'm so loony. All this bullshit has a beauty.
I don't need your pity, please leave me alone. I
like to have people tell you or assume that you're not strong. I know what it's like to have people assume that you're not capable. I know what it's like to have people look at you as an HIV person and think that you're not worthy of excellence. But you are fucking worthy of excellence! You're not shy, you fake thugs. Your mama calls it like a sea, Johnny. That don't amuse me. All you little fishes trying to get the fish.
It gives me hope that these are the people actively challenging the narratives around queer identity and receiving international attention for their art. South Africa as a country and Africa as a continent have been colonized and commodified. But the creatives I met are refusing to be colonized by the Western gaze. These artists are living their lives and creating their own destinies, whether the rest of the world is watching or not.
I'm here in this country as an outsider. I see you. I'm listening to you. And I hope I'm learning from you.